Yeah, so here we are at Eagle Pass, and we're going to be meeting with the sort of major officials and law enforcement are responsible for the border, and you'll hear directly from them and see exactly what's going on for yourself. So with that, let's begin.
Yes, I'm Tony Gonzalez. I'm the local congressman here in the district. My district is 823 miles of the southern border, places like Eagle Pass, El Paso, Uvalde, Del Rio. We've been at the epicenter of this border crisis. What I'd really like to share is a lot of my sheriffs and local elected officials are being forgotten. Their stories aren't getting out. Some stories are, but a lot of stories aren't. The first person I'd like to hear from is Randy Brown, who is the sheriff of Medina County. It's about an hour away from, about 100 miles away from here. And Randy's behind us now. You want to come over here, Randy? And just the question I have is what's happening in your county? This is 100 miles away.
And just imagine, like you're just talking to America here, and people just want to understand exactly what's going on, but assume that people do not know what's going on.
Well, you got to go back some time, and whenever the open border policies from the White House kind of got thrown out there, we've been overrun.
How long was that? How long ago was that?
Cool. What year was that?
2 years ago.
We're on our third year. We've been battling it for 2 years, and
okay.
So
you're saying there's been an open border policy essentially for the past 2 years?
It was an invitation.
An invitation.
That's how I read it. That's how it was told from the White House. So
okay.
They don't have a clue what's going on here, I don't think, because if they did, maybe they would care. Maybe they would. I don't know.
How does the train impact you? Because the trains have been a big story lately. There's a train just over here. This is kind of where it starts, Elon.
Okay.
Where you see, all these thousands of people on a train. This is where they're coming through, but it doesn't end here. It just starts here.
Yeah.
Medina County is where they're going to make it to the big cities like San Antonio.
Two major rail lines come through my county, and on those the illegals ride. They actually control the trains because they know how to crank down the brake on the car so that when it passes a heat sensor, the conductor has to stop the train, the illegals get off, the people come to get them, and all the stolen vehicles they're stealing from all over the country. Nearly every one of them is in a stolen vehicle.
Okay.
So then we get involved, and then they're trespassing on private property.
Okay.
And when you do get behind one of them, they run through fences, they run over equipment. Irrigation stuff is important to the farmers. They run over their equipment, they tear it up. We tear up vehicles trying to hold the line. We're trying to hold the line 100 miles away because the line is not getting held here. Because it's not that complicated to close the border. It really isn't. And that's the aggravating part. I think any sheriff here will tell you the same thing.
All right. Well, and just again, just assume that this is really just for the general public, and so we want to just frame the situation because not everyone knows like the magnitude and is this normal or is it like so just if you could just frame the situation for the general public, that would be helpful.
What terrifies me the most is we're seeing historic numbers, 11,000 people coming over daily for the past week. Here in Eagle Pass alone, 2,500 people, over 5,000 people in detention. But what worries me the most is this, in many cases, feels normal. The part that doesn't make it out on some of the news stuff is there is a golf course. We're literally standing in front of a golf course, and you have people playing golf as if it is normal. To the right, you have people that are coming over illegally. I mean, it is upside down. And like Elon said earlier, I believe in legal immigration. I think legal immigration is important. And what happens is when you grant people that have come over illegally these different opportunities, you completely undermine the legal system.
I think like the stuff we were talking about in the car, the magnitude of the situation. The
magnitude of it, yeah.
So it's like the fact that we are seeing all-time highs in illegal processing, that ramp is increasing.
Yes.
So these are really important points because the public isn't. I think it's not necessarily clear to the public. Is this normal or are we seeing an accelerating crisis?
It's not getting better. It's getting worse. Last Friday a week ago was a historic number, 11,000 people that came over.
Okay.
And then on Monday, that number increased. Today is Thursday, and that number increased. We're only going in the wrong direction. This is a week. What happens 2 weeks from now? It's the wrong way.
Okay. So basically, we're seeing unprecedented, all-time highs, and increasing,
and spreading.
Yeah.
It's not in just one area. It's not just like it's just one city or one
Yes.
town, and not even one state anymore. You know, it's not, we're talking about New York today, but Chicago, you're hearing it there, LA, Denver. There's all these other places where it's just spreading, just continues to get
Okay.
bubbling up.
And just to quantify it, I think you said 2,000 a day or something, just in this location.
Just here, yeah, just here.
So that's
but
like over 700,000 a year.
just in this one location, yeah.
Okay, just 700,000 sort of illegal immigrants a year, just in this one location.
Just in this one location.
Okay.
El Paso, right now in El Paso.
Just, yeah, that's higher than the population of Wyoming, FYI.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and that's just one location. What is the total number from all locations roughly per
In the
year?
millions. I mean, it's literally millions, and those are just the folks that we know have engaged. What
Okay,
about
so
all the others?
That's just who was actually processed.
Yes, the gotaways are the ones that you know.
Yeah, so meaning that like the actual number is much higher.
Much higher.
Okay, that's very important for people to know.
Yeah.
That the actual number is much higher. Is the official number something like 2 million or something? Or where is it?
It varies, and it depends on who you ask. But
Okay.
I've seen it as high as 2.6 million, and that number just every year for the past 3 years has almost doubled. You know, it was like 1.1,
It's
and then it's
doubling
just
year after
doubling year after year. It's compounding year after year because it's not just one part of the world either. It's all parts of the world that are coming. In El Paso,
Yeah, I think that's actually an important point to make because you know, sometimes people think, well, fuel is coming from Mexico, but this is not the
No,
case.
not the case at all.
The reality is that this is an open border for all of Earth.
all of Earth.
And just, you know, so there's roughly 350 million people in the U.S., but there's 8 billion people on Earth.
Yes.
This is an open border to 8 billion people.
Yes. Exactly.
And so, in fact, I believe it's a small minority, or it's a minority. It's a small percentage that are actually coming from Mexico.
Yeah.
That are Mexican.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Sheriff Zertuche, how many, I mean, this is how close are you to the border? 60 miles?
68 miles from the
68
border.
miles from the border.
That's right.
What type of nationalities are coming through your county?
We're seeing anywhere from Honduras, El Salvador, I believe Ecuador, and stuff like that. Even some Cubans.
It's pretty much every
as
country,
well.
right?
Pretty much every country.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we see anybody just from Mexico. So-
Oh, it's actually rare to see anyone
Right.
from Mexico.
And then I'm 68 miles from the border. I'm 80 miles south of here from
Okay.
Eagle Pass.
How big is your workforce? How big is the sheriff's office?
My patrol staff's only 16 strong,
16 total.
Okay.
So how many do you have on call at one time?
maybe 2 at the most.
Two law enforcement officers to tackle. I mean, some of these counties that I represent, they're the size
Yeah.
of states, and
Sure.
they've got 2 or 3 people trying to tackle it all. This is where the local community just feel completely overwhelmed because Border Patrol agents used to be the front line, and now they're here. They're under the bridge. They're processing folks, so they're completely out of the game. So these law enforcement, the local law enforcement officers, are carrying all the weight.
My
Okay.
county alone is 1,500 square miles. And
Right. So that's not possible, really.
it's very difficult to handle.
Yeah. Okay. And so and just it's worth going over a bunch of things that you mentioned to me, which
Yes.
is like there's almost no repatriation.
Right.
This is another thing that I found surprising. Basically, once somebody gets in, they're in.
Yes.
There's essentially there's in theory repatriation, in theory flying back.
Yes.
And I believe you talked to the president of Guatemala and asked him if, would they take people back, and he said, of course.
Yes, I said I'll take every single one of them.
Yeah, no problem.
No
So,
problem. All you got to do is ask
Call,
us.
yeah.
Ask, you just call.
The White House just needs to call.
Exactly.
Okay.
And every white and
Seems like that's like not a difficult thing.
Elon, every White House has done that.
Okay.
Whether it was Trump, whether it was Obama, whether it was Clinton, whether it was Bush, every single White House has had a border issue, and every single one has had to handle it the same way.
Okay.
By essentially going, we can't let everybody in because it's going to overwhelm us. You're gonna abide by the laws, and if you don't qualify for asylum, we're going to send you back. And as soon as you start doing that, it alleviates the stress. This administration hasn't done that yet.
Okay, so and just so of the sort of roughly 2.5 million processed illegals, and then it's maybe as much as twice double that or something. I don't know. So,
Gotaways. Yeah.
Call it like 4-ish million, maybe 5 million total processed and unprocessed. how many of the 4 or 5 million legal immigrants are sent back to their countries every year?
I'll give you an example. Here in Del Rio sector is one of 9 sectors. Okay, we're getting about 2,500 people coming over illegally a day, and we are repatriating or sending 0 back. Zero.
Zero. So zero is quite a small number.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's just literally 0. So
0.
basically, there's no repatriation.
What is happening is
this is insane.
What is happening is, at best, they will send people to other parts of the border. That's
Okay.
not back to where the country of origin. That's to Laredo or El Paso.
Okay.
In worst case scenario, and I want to bring in the mayor here, the worst case scenario is where they're at. You bubble to a point where there's nowhere else to send them. So what you end up doing is you release them into the street. Imagine what that does to your local community. This is the mayor
How
of
you
Eagle
doing?
Pass.
Welcome
Hi.
to Eagle Pass. Orlando Salinas, mayor of the city of Eagle Pass,
Hi.
and it's been a rough.
Oh, nice town.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. It is.
just FYI, in case people are wondering whether Eagle Pass is like a rundown town. It's actually really clean and nice. Just FYI.
Thank you so much. You
Yeah.
know, we're a city of 28,000 people, and we've had 19,000.
I'm sorry. Maybe talk to the camera, I suppose.
Eagle Pass is a city of 28,000 people. We've had over 19,000 people in the last about 10 days come in. So we don't have the resources.
It's like wait, more people are coming in by far. Than it's exceeding the population of the town on a regular basis.
Absolutely. We don't have the resources to
Mayor,
control.
will you talk about the hospital?
Absolutely.
I think that's a
Absolutely.
piece that a lot of people are missing.
Eagle Pass has one hospital. So you have thousands of people visiting this hospital. People are getting frustrated. The safety's taking a toll. People can't get medical care, our local constituents, because they're treating people that are coming in from other countries. It's just,
There's only so many doctors.
there's only so many doctors, only so much we could do. The thing is, they're coming in without consequence, and the word gets out back to their countries. Hey, come to the U.S., come to Eagle Pass, come one, come all kind of situation. And it's disappointing that we don't have a reform where we can solve this issue.
The other thing about this too, Elon, is it should not be a partisan issue. I get it. The politics in it are lucrative.
Exactly. There's certainly a temptation to make it a partisan issue.
100%.
Yeah.
But this is across the board. I don't care if you're a D or an R, if you vote, don't vote,
Yeah.
urban America, rural America, everybody's impacted the same way. When the crisis hits your town, it's like a hurricane. When a hurricane hits you, everybody gets washed out.
Sure.
And it's no different. So I think there's an opportunity here if we can message it in a manner of, this is about solutions. Hey, I get the finger pointing. It's easy to say why we got here. It's like, how do we just get out of here? And I think there are some real tangible solutions we can get.
Okay, so I guess like the first part of this video, and I'll take a minute to upload it once it's done,
Sure.
is just to frame the problem so
Yes.
that the American people understand the magnitude of the problem, how quickly it is growing, and that there is basically no solution currently being implemented.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Okay, and just to understand, like when you're telling me like sometimes people coming through are they have gang tattoos and, and they have the tear tattoo on the forehead. Like I'm not sure maybe that everyone knows what tattooing a tear on your head on your face means.
I visited. It's not good.
It's not good.
I visited. Just
Okay.
nonstop. I visited the facility here in Eagle Pass on Monday, and there was a guy that had face and neck tattoos, hand tattoos, and he had teardrops.
Now,
And
a teardrop is when you kill
when
somebody.
you kill someone, and then you wear it as like
as a badge of pride. You're like
Right.
actually happy that you've killed someone,
Right.
and you want people to know it.
right.
And when someone like that comes through and they say they're an asylum seeker, what do we do?
So I'm in there, and I asked the border patrol chief.
I mean, we're talking about basically a serial murderer.
Because he has multiple teardrops.
Serial murderer and proud of it.
Yes.
Yes.
This is not somebody you want babysitting.
Not subtle.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And so when I asked the Border Patrol chief, I go, hey, what's up with this guy?
Yeah.
And he asked him in Spanish, he goes, hey, have you ever been arrested before? He goes, oh, of course not. And he's like, no, I've never been arrested. And so what the Border Patrol chief said, he goes, we do not have records from people from Venezuela.
Sure.
So we can't track, unless they were arrested in the United States, we really don't know who some of these actors are. Many people you'll see are fleeing poverty. I get that.
Sure.
But there are others that are fleeing, incarceration.
Yes. we are basically, it seems like a place where you can go to get away from the law.
Yes.
Yeah. So Okay, well, I think with that, oh, and I see this sort of a, you know, just a kind of a group over there that's coming in. So it's, you know, so, you know, this sort of, I don't know if you could really see it. I'll try to switch it around. Well, I can't really switch around. So anyway, that's like, I don't know if you can sort of see that group, but that's a group there.